Hello, my name's Katie, and this video is going to be talking about the process of getting ready to do an exchange semester next semester. So if you're interested in anything Finland related and the visa process, watch this video. I'm currently a junior at the School of Visual Arts in New York City studying photography, and I'm doing an exchange semester next semester at Aalto University in Helsinki, Finland. So I'm going to talk about a couple different things. First, I want to talk about the application process and how it works at SVA, and then I'm going to talk about applying for the visa, and then I'm going to talk about housing in Helsinki. So the application process at SVA works like this. There's 11 different undergraduate departments here at SVA. So the photo department has schools that they specifically do exchanges with, so I could only apply to those ones. So at SVA, I could apply to 3 different schools to do exchanges at. There were a couple issues that I was having while I was applying. The main one being that I didn't realize that a lot of the schools we do exchanges with don't teach in English. So once I learned that kind of narrowed down my options, because I had some schools that I was looking at that I was interested in, and Helsinki wasn't really one of them at first. But then I figured out what the English-speaking departments were that I could exchange with, and it was basically just London and Helsinki. So I applied to London College of Communications and Aalto. I wasn't that interested in going to London because I've been there and I've never been to Finland, and the more I looked into it, the more I was like, this looks really interesting. So I got in. Very exciting. Yeah, the application process was just a pretty basic art school application process. Once I got in, I already knew that I wanted to go there for the semesters, so I started figuring out how to do the whole visa thing. Part of the Finland visa process happens online. The main chunk of it happens online. So you fill out an application online. If you're going for a semester exchange, you do a residence permit and not a full-time visa. So all this information of what you need to apply for a visa you can find online. But I also have it right here, so I'll just briefly go through it. You're going to need a scan of your passport, which means you need a passport. You need to upload an acceptance letter from the school that you're exchanging with. You need a clarification of income, and you need a certificate of health insurance that works internationally, and it has to have up to a certain amount that it covers. And then you also have to pay a fee for submitting it. For the residence permit one, it was 300 euros, which is kind of a lot, but what are you gonna do? And then after you submit it, you have to schedule an appointment at the Consulate General of Finland. There's a couple in the US, so I'm going to the one in New York. And you can schedule meetings online, which I didn't know. So I had to wait a week for someone to email me back to figure out that I could do this. And it still was kind of hard to find it on the website, but you can do it online. So you look right away. So then you can schedule an appointment earlier so that they can process your visa faster so that you get it sooner. So I haven't gone to mine yet. I will let you guys know what it's like, what that process is like, because I have no idea what it's going to be like. I've never gone. I've never done this kind of thing. And I don't know anybody that's done it, so I think it might be helpful to talk about it. The next thing I wanted to talk about is housing. One thing about SVA is that they don't set you up with housing, so what do you do then? Luckily, the internet exists. There are tons of resources for finding housing. There are Facebook pages. There are different resources usually set up within the city, and then also Airbnb. So at first I was going to do an Airbnb. I had it set up and everything, and then upon further investigation I realized that Aalto has multiple campuses, and the Airbnb was near the campus I did not need to be by and was about an hour away from the campus I do need to be by. And commuting an hour in a city you're not from and have never been to sounds kind of terrible, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking for something else. Luckily, I had applied through these different resources at the same time just so that I would have options, and it actually turned out really well. So in Helsinki, there's a couple different organizations' websites that you just send in an application as an exchange student, and then they'll offer you an apartment if there's space. I applied to 2 different websites, and I only heard back from one. The apartment they offered me ended up being a lot, not a lot closer, but closer to the campus. It's about 30 minutes away now. which is much more doable. And another cool thing about this website is it's mostly just exchange students that apply to it. So the apartment that I was offered is a room in a 6-bedroom apartment, and for the most part, everyone that lives in the building is an exchange student. So that'll be really cool. So I think that'll turn out a lot better than the Airbnb was. So do not stress out. It's so much easier to find housing nowadays than like back in the day, and it'll be fine. If you are going the Airbnb route, which I still think is a great idea, just like be sure of where you want to stay and like look into that more. I would suggest messaging people and asking if they want to rent long term rather than just like trying to book 4 months in Airbnb, because it might be cheaper to talk to them. And then it's kind of like more official, I feel like, and then you can talk to them. But definitely have options ready in case like one doesn't work out. And like do a lot of research on like how easy it is to get from where you're staying to where you need to go regularly. What's public transit like? Do they have buses? Do they have like a metro system? Like, do the maps make sense? Because the Finnish public transit maps are confusing. They make no sense. And it took me like 2 hours to decipher it and figure out like, oh, okay, this is only gonna take 30 minutes. So you gotta put in some effort to it. So that's about all I have to say right now on like the process. I'll talk about what going to the consulate is like once I go. I'm going to try and do vlogs every week while I'm there, mostly just like for myself to remember everything that I'm doing. So this is like the beginning part of that, like the process of it. But then I also am hoping to be doing vlogs while I'm there all semester. So I went to the Consulate General of Finland this morning, so I'm just gonna like talk about it a little bit. It was super easy. I went, had to sit in a waiting area for a little bit. I had to fill out a form with like my address and my phone number and nothing super in-depth. They took some fingerprints of me and then they had me sign a document. So you basically just go to like prove that you are who you are. You have to bring your passport. Yeah, then they like send it off to Finland, I'm pretty sure, and then they look through it and then they give me a decision. So this is my last little update about the whole thing. I got my residence permit. They approved me within 24 hours, which was really quick because online it says on average it takes a month to get approved. So the next day after my appointment, I got an email saying that I'd been approved, and then you just have to wait for it to get mailed to the consulate, and it took about a week for it to get mailed. So the whole thing didn't take that long, and this is what it looks like. And they do put your passport picture on it, which I hadn't thought of, and I don't like my passport picture that I gave them. So something to think about. Maybe take a good one to submit. I'm ready. I'm set. This was the biggest thing I needed to do. And now I'm good. And I'm going to Finland in 1 week. So I'm excited.